I don't know why people were asked, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this more than once. You have no idea what you're talking about. Okay, I'm sorry. You really don't. There was a survey done. It says most Americans want college athletes to get paid. And let me qualify by saying this, and I don't think there's any way that you can't be offended, but I don't think you should be. But no offense, I'll say it as a qualifier. Most of you have no idea what you're talking about. I don't think anyone that answered the survey has any idea what they're talking about. I'm not sure a lot of people that sit behind microphones when they talk about this stuff, college athletics and paying and all that stuff, I don't think many people really know what they're talking about. I mean, you can say, Jeff, you don't know what you're talking about. I kind of like my chances here. I do. How does it you suggest they get paid? Go ahead. Let's hear it. Are you suggesting American public that they become employees? Are you? Really? You want to go that route? Go ahead. You go right ahead and go that route. Let's see how that plays out. Are you calling them contractors? Okay, we'll see how that plays out. Do they all, by the way, get the same pay? Good luck with that one, too, by the way. So the quarterback makes more than the defensive end, who makes more than the volleyball player, who makes more than the golfer. Is that the way you want to do it? Let me repeat it again. I'll take it further. Most people have no idea what you're talking about in this arena. One, it's far more complicated than just saying, well, gosh, they ought to get paid. Two, I'm not sure I agree. I don't think people even understand what goes into a scholarship. I really don't. I will tell you this, if you're the majority of American public, for whatever reason, are asked, and, I think there are far bigger issues out there, but it's fine to talk about it. I just want to point out how clueless this take is. Football and basketball players, which is what most people are thinking of when they think of athletes getting paid, it's really, really complicated economically. It's really complicated when you start breaking down what qualifies as an employee and what would happen if you made them employees, of which the schools won't do because they're not going to want that liability. They're not. But then I don't think people understand some of the fundamentals. One, I don't think people understand what a scholarship pays for. And number two, the players don't really want any leverage. This will surprise you, and it's really surprising that 70% of the public thinks they should be paid. That was a flat answer. It was a straightforward answer, and it sounds good. It feels pretty good. You think they're getting screwed over. Yes and no, or no and yes. There's a lot to it. The players will never strike. I don't know if I'll say it, never. Modern day players are not going to strike. Modern day players are not going to, I'll use the example, Texas and Oklahoma playing in a big game on TV, a huge rivalry. It's 5 minutes before kickoff. A network has paid a lot of money to show it. They're not going to sit down in the tunnel and say, I'm not playing unless you give us X. They won't do it. And I'll tell you why, and it's sad, but it's reality. They won't strike and they won't hold out for more money, whether it's salaried, contractor, whatever it is. And the reason why they won't do that, and I'm not happy about this, but I've lived it and seen it and been around it, they're terrified of losing the best and in many cases only opportunity they have, many of them. They'll lose the best internship anyone could ever have. And it goes deeper than that for a lot of poor Southern kids, because that's what that industry is, who have no other options in many cases. Not all, but in many cases. So the majority of football and basketball players, the only sports that make money, and even those, not a lot of them don't make money, only a select few make any money, but the majority of those guys desperately need those internships. They have to have it because they need it to get to the NFL. They have no other options in many cases. This is it. They went to that school for that reason. See, most people that watch or most people that talk about You may have gone to college for obviously far different reasons. I mean, you went to school to get a degree. You went to school to, party. You went to school for a number of reasons, but you belong there. And many of these guys don't belong there, and they know they don't belong there. They just need that place to use them, and they need to use that place to get where they want to go, and that's the NFL or the NBA, because there's no other option for them. So they're not about to. College football could say, as they have, I'm not paying you anything. And they're not quitting because they need it. They don't have leverage, and they know they don't have leverage, and they're too terrified to take the risk. And if you were in a position of some poor kid whose only chance to ever be on a campus was to play football, you'd be the same way. You have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, fans don't. The people that sit in the stands, who are college students and college graduates, have no idea what the people are like that they're talking about. None. You have no idea when you pull that curtain back what that kid is like and what he's been through and where he's from and how he, in many cases, has no options. People, I heard it many, many times. I still hear it. Well, you get an opportunity to be on campus. These are people largely, sadly, completely unqualified to be on a campus. They can't use it. The education system has failed them, and they failed it for decades. They don't belong there. Some kid with no skills, academic skills whatsoever, can stroll into the accounting department and go, "Oh, thank goodness I'm here. I'll make use of it." So it's a very twisted world that people sitting in the stands looking at a bunch of dudes in helmets have no idea who they're talking about. Sorry, did that sound pretty bleeding heart? It should be. I'm just telling you, you don't know what you're talking about. So here you go. I think it's interesting. I think people have this standard attitude about, man, well, that money, that industry makes a lot of money. Got the rich coach on the sideline. Surely those dudes ought to get paid. It is really complicated. This is USA Today. Survey shows most people want college athletes to be paid. It's difficult for any fair-minded American, they write, to look at the vast amounts of money flowing into college sports and not see hypocrisy in its reliance on an unpaid labor force. Well, that's a little sanctimonious, to be honest with you. It's not an unpaid labor force. It's a used labor force. It is a system that has scooped people up and is absolutely using them. The worst part, the people they've scooped up have no skills to use that place. Not all. Don't do that thing. I've done it a million times. Don't say, yeah, but some guys do. I did. I gave a speech to a college program not that long ago. Never be asked back again. Never. The room went silent. The coach I think he threw up on his shoes. And I said, everyone is lying to you. Everyone in the last decade has lied to you about where you are and what you're going to get. It's a lie. You, for the most part, guys, are completely unqualified to be here. And that's a problem. And you better figure it out. And you better get to that library like everybody else. You better know how to use this place because it's going to use you. Silent room. If they could take out the gong and said, gong that guy and get him out of here now, they would have. But it's a really messed up model that by paying people is not going to fix it. You can say, well, go give them a salary, make them employees. That's not going to fix it. You don't even know what it is. Are they college students? Yes or no? Because if you want to make them college students, you better say goodbye to about 85%. Because you won't do that. Because the people that watch want to see football and you want to win. Period. Okay. So you want them just to be football players and just be employees. Okay. Let's see the school pull that one off. Go ahead. Let's see your college take on 90 employees and all the liability that comes with it. Go right ahead. See how that plays out. So it's not pro sports. It's not built like pro sports. It's not managed like pro sports. It is the model itself can't even pretend to be pro sports. It's supposed to be a college campus. They're trying to have it both ways, and it doesn't work. So the public says in a national survey, 67% of American adults believe college athletes should be paid not just through name, image, and likeness payments, but direct compensation from the school. In other words, you want to make them employees or contractors or something like that. Your program's going to go broke, by the way. I just want to tell you right now, you're not going to make it. You will not be able to make it. You won't. So here's the thing about just saying, let's just pay people. Number one, I think this is a little myopic, to say the least. Did most of you have a job in college? I bet you did. And the next follow-up to that is why? Why did you have a job? Why'd you work a couple of jobs, probably? Why? Why would you do that? And your answer back is, because I had to pay for stuff, Jeff, you jackass. Right. You had to pay for books. You had to pay for rent, or you had to pay for meals. You had to pay for beer. You had to pay for weed. You had to pay for condoms, whatever. You had to pay for that stuff. Guess what? Win an athletic scholarship, that's what it pays for. It is a job. It's paying these dudes much like you were paid if you had a couple of jobs in college. Now, the comeback is, yeah, but come on, Jeff. I mean, I worked at a restaurant. I worked at a bar. I was parking cars or whatever you were doing in college to make a buck. True. So I wasn't, 100,000 people to come to watch me. They didn't buy skyboxes to watch me. They bring in so much money. True. It brings in a lot of money. A lot of people pay anything to come and watch. But the people who run programs, you need to know this too. They spend all the money. They just go spend it. They'll hire more people and more people and more people. There is no organization more bloated than a college football program. A big time. It's a big time football factory. They are so bloated and so full of VPs because they'll spend every freaking penny. The NFL is run like a small business. Each one of those franchisees, they are smart, and they are smart about their money. College football programs at factories are bloated. They are GM in 1975. They are not just horribly run. They don't care. Whatever comes in, let's go spend it. So that's, why should they be run better? You want to make these guys employees. So what should happen? If you make them employees, then you'd have no idea how to set up that pay scale. You have no idea how to set up the scale when it comes to the team itself or the sports themselves. Good luck with the argument when a women's basketball player says, well, why are the football players making $80,000 a year and I'm making $25,000? And you're just going to have these fights all over the place. Then you're going to have liability, then you're going to have workman's comp, and all this stuff has been litigated before. So the industry, it's not ready to work that way. It's trying to pretend at times it's amateur. It's trying to pretend at times it's college. And if you believe that these are college students and they're going to wear your logo, then I'd be careful about turning them into employees. So what should happen is exactly what I've been saying for some time. They won't do it now, and they wouldn't do it years ago, and they're probably not going to do it in a few years. What they should have done, it was easy to set up. It's exactly what Nick Saban has told the football world. This is what I would tell the public. What should happen, the only way you can keep that industry the way it is now, young guys who don't belong in college using the college to get an internship and training, okay? They are using it, and they're using it really well. The school is using them. The guy with the swoosh or Under Armour in his shirt making $7 million a year for the next 10 years is doing the same. He's getting rich. Skybox people are having a good time. The entertainment part of it is working. It's in full motion. You turn them employees, you've turned the whole thing upside down. The only thing they could have done years ago, the only way it would work now and in tomorrow, is somebody with some vision and some common sense says, we're taking on a revenue sharing model. You take that money in, you take it from platforms, you take it from media, you take it from merchandising, you do it just like the NFL, and you disperse that, and you better figure out a model to disperse it because you're going to have constant fights. That's the only way. You cannot turn them into employees. You can't. The model that you think you enjoy would not exist. Next dozen concussions that happen this season, you're out of business. You're completely out of business. I don't even know what you think you're going to do with workman's comp. So everyone's a contractor. You set up a revenue sharing model. You stipulate the percentages. and you operate it that way. That's the only way. If you believe these guys are wronged, and there's an argument to be made they are wronged, they are used. They're also doing some using themselves, just like you did when you're working a few jobs in college. But if you think that is un-American, you think that it's unfair, the only way to make it right and manage it the way it looks now is to have revenue sharing. And then you have to figure out a model, and you have to figure out a percentage, and nobody in the industry has the guts nor the vision to do it.